Right. So we are discussing today about the policy form patterns, especially on the policy center, because policy form patterns are majorly a kind of templates that we are using, followed by the kind of rules that are used to automatically identify which policy physical insurance document belongs to a specific policy or something of that. So because of this, generally, whenever we are using this, in general, in regular old models, we used to have physical documents. That's how earlier it was. Now it was transformed into the policy form patterns, where the core purpose is to define the form ID number, including any kind of name, description, so which may be majorly needed to pull the correct documents from the extended library. And these forms majorly used at an automation form. This is where we can use it at the Guidewire policy center. The policy center, wherein we can go with the business settings and all, where we can go with policy form patterns, where we can create different form patterns for multiple line of businesses that we are involving in. Because whenever there is any kind of form that we wants to be performed, so that has to be configured as well. Because form patterns we have to be configured, right? So we need to define so what exactly it was, right? So what policy data that is involved in, right? So the product name, state, coverages, whatever the risk that is associated in, right? What type of job type, transaction, everything that can be involved in. So when we are creating this pattern, there were different catalogs. This is what something that we can see. So this is what policy form patterns were, wherein based on the form number, etc. So we can identify, we can set the information. That is one option we have. Or else based upon the product that we can. Let's say that, for example, we have taken a commercial auto. Okay, commercial auto as a policy we had it. So these are the different products that are available here, right? So because business auto coverage form is separate, at the same time different coverages form, but business auto coverage form from Virginia changes, etc. Anything is required. So depends on the type of coverages we have taken, depends on the kind of risk, depends on the type of policy above all, type of line of business or policy line that we our product is relating to. So these forms has to be added. So this is something that we can do it, right? So existing forms can be taken, and existing forms, whatever the existing forms we have, that can be updated. For example, I've taken an example over business auto coverage form. Okay, this is what generally the business auto coverage form was. First of all, we must be knowing about how this screen will be designed. Okay, being an implementation team, we should understand, because always generally these code numbers will be alphanumeric number, because whenever we want to create any kind of new policy form, here it can see, right? So we can add new policy form for it. When the new policy form is, when for example we have come and got the new product, let's say we already have different line of businesses we have, like commercial line, commercial property, all that. So now we are coming up with a new product for homeowner insurance policy. We are focusing on 2 3 states. It means that product we want to cover only in 2 3 states. That was our idea, being a insurer. So now for that related forms we need to update. So for that we can create a new form. So or else the existing form that can be taken. So whenever there is a form relating to this I have taken for this particular policy. So this is a code number we have. So this is already a needed one, because let's create a new one so that we can see it. For example, this is the code number we have mentioned. So this is the code number that we have taken. Next, this is the number, right? So number we have taken for BA101 and all. So this is an addition. Addition number has to be given equally. Next, which business coverage auto form is this? Let's say that business auto coverage form this is. Okay, this is a business auto coverage form we have selected. Now, any data relating to this form collected after the code means, for example, you have given a quotation. Quotation is generated. After that, you have made some changes in the existing application where you have added some data. So if that was the situation, or that was the kind, right? So wherein we are in, so we have to be updated. So that is something that we need to do. Next, whenever we wants to assign an endorsements, number of this form or something, etc. So this we can. So all this we can see it in the policy center here, right? So this is the developer studio where we can, right? So wherein we can go, right? right? So we can go ahead. So wherein we can see like what is the policy form patterns do we have existed? Any policy form patterns do we have existed, etc. Everything that we can see. So here and whatever the necessary changes we want to make all the changes here itself. That's how generally this is all something will be work for. So this is something that we need to know, right? So this changes we have to make in this in the backend studio, where if there is any new form that we want to be created, so everything has to be configured here. But before we are going to this, we need to do this, right? So here, business auto coverage form we have taken, right? So any data relating to the form, no, we have not made any changes. Is in assigning an endorsement number to this form or not, right? So if it is yes, we have to be updated as. Generally, we are considering it as no, right? So what kind of priority and what are the inference code? Inference fields are majorly of a reference code that we are referring to. This is all about the basic information we need to update under the form pattern. Next, what type of form is this? He already mentioned this is a commercial order form we have created. Next, when there is any kind of transaction type we have taken. So for which purpose this form is being used? Is it being used for the policy change? Is it being used for rewriting the policy? Or if there is any kind of renewal or submissions, etc. Everything has to be performed here. Next, under the which jurisdiction is this related? Is this something relating to any particular jurisdiction? Let's say that this is the product that we are confined majorly to the jurisdiction of Alaska. So this is something that we need to mention, followed by any policy changes, etc. I already told you. Here we have mentioned it. There are no changes that we have made in the policy. We are not making any changes, and inferences anything were there. Now, whenever we want to come up with a new policy, okay, let's say we want to go with commercial auto. So commercial auto is a form that we have taken. So where these forms will be updated. So let's see that. Okay, this coverages and all everything, right? So if you want to know this coverages, etc. So that where exactly this was, right? So this is a commercial auto line. Now what I'm taking is I'm going back. I'm going to I'm going to take some these things and all. Okay. I've taken some, let me take an account and I'll create so that where this policy form comes into picture, you will be knowing. Okay. I'll be doing that. Okay. This is the account number I have selected. We are going for a new submission. So which producer or organizer that we have. So we need to identify that. Commercial insurer. This is the producer name we have selected. It's a single full application I'm selecting because if it's a code means only we can create code, but here I'm selecting the full application. So its state is Delaware, right? So that is mentioned. So the effective date is mentioned over here. Now you can see here we don't find any commercial auto selection hub. Why? Because this product, by being this company, this product has been already selected by another producer. As I am selecting the new producer here, hence you don't see this commercial auto. So this Lopio Logistics, we are going there. Commercial auto form we have applied for, right? So we have created even, okay. Commercial auto form we have created. Commercial auto in force. Okay, policy form. This has taken by Lopi Logistics. Producer here you can see policy special form property brokers. So using this producer we have already created. So now you want to create from the other producer, generally it is not happening, right? So let me check it in on the special form property brokers. Okay. So from the brokers. Special from broker to you can see, right? So this is the difference. Now you got this. Why? Because earlier we have already created a policy on commercial auto using this special from property brokers earlier. Now, whenever we are coming back to the point, what we did, we have selected another producer, hence it was not accepted. So if we have created any line of businesses submitted but through any broker or an agent, it has to be selected the same. If you are selecting other, automatically it will get in you as an invalid condition, right? That's how generally this will work. So this configuration means whenever we want to make these configurations, whenever we are updating these configuration layers, whenever we want to mention about these inference engines or any kind of form composition behaviors. So if you want to create something of that kind, we must be knowing where exactly it was located. So I am taking full application, commercial auto is selected. Offering selection, what type of policy that we are taking. We have taken a standard policy. So these are all will be there, right? So pre-qualification, or agent has inspected the vehicle or something, right? So how many hours the vehicle, because it's a commercial vehicle, how many hours this vehicle can be used for. So all these are the pre-qualification criteria. So normally these pre-qualification criteria we will be updating in the product designer, because there is a product designer we have in the policy center we have. When there is any new product we want to be designed, everything we have to design there. There it will be appear. Okay. So qualification was mentioned. Policy info. I'm mentioning. Okay, this is the quotation argument. So estimated premium, I'm not mentioning. It's mentioning all that. Additional, which type of company? Is it a limited liability partnership? It was there already. Policy term, annual term. So effective date, from when onwards this policy has to be effective. Means this is to be effective in maybe from coming days and all. Let's say this one we want to be, because this is on the 3rd of June. Now you want to be you want to be effective this policy from 6th June. I am selecting on the 6th June here. Written date as usual date. Run date, the base date we can take is Delaware. You can see the producer is here already. Special from property brokers is the producer. The commercial auto, these are the coverages. Okay, whatever the coverages we have, these are the coverages. Right, so it's a business auto we have taken. Yeah, business auto we have taken. So once we have taken the business auto, we need to go for 10 or more fleets or fewer than 10 units. Fewer than 10 units means even from one vehicle to 10 units, it's considered one fleet. If you want to insure 10 or more vehicles, 10 or more units, we have to select. Fewer than 10, I'm selecting. Okay. So any commercial auto liability group you want to update it, any seasonal trainer liability or about it, all these things we need to update. So and select state, etc. Everything of that we can add it. Next, any add additional coverages we want to add, any additional coverages here we can cover anything of that kind. Followed by inclusions on any additional insured, everything we have to be updated. So once we are updating, right? So here we have updated the location, because where exactly this vehicle that we are taking, right? So where it has to be, where we have to be stay, right? So where exactly this will be kept, okay? Which location this will be kept in. So if you want to add new location, we can add it anyway. This is all more common. We need to create a new vehicle. So where garage rate mentioned here. Vehicle type I'm mentioning. So vehicle identification number. So based on the vehicle identification number, it's a 2002 model Mazda. Body type, truck I'm mentioning. License plate and license state, because so vehicle condition when purchased, which is a used vehicle, because here I've already mentioned this is a 2002, it's a more used vehicle. So year of purchase, okay, in dollars I'm mentioning. So lease or rental, no, right? So classification of the information. 718 mentioning. Okay, this is the classification code number. anti-theft alarm we have, or etc., so that we can mention it. Okay, or else if there's a GPS locating device we have. So these are all to save the product, save the vehicle, etc. So coverage is collision that was mentioned over here. Comprehensive we have mentioned. And there are no additional vehicles as such. So we have updated the vehicle. Okay. These are the state insured coverage, right? So uninsured bodily injury. Okay, those coverages we have updated. PIB deductibles I am not mentioning, right? Any PIB deductibles were not mentioned. Additional coverages, exclusions, and state rating. State rating means we need to provide the rating for that. So I'm mentioning 4 as rating. Okay, value, we have to mention the value for that. So between this, right? So because experiencing modifier means any changes or something of that, right, that we can take. We need to add the driver. Yeah, we can add the driver because it's a commercial. So we need to select the driver. I'm mentioning the license because ours is focusing on policy form pattern so that I'm not updating all this. Okay. To update. Okay. So this driver we have added. No, I'm not adding. We are adding only one driver. Okay, these are the coverages, right? So these are the coverages. These are the different things. Like for example, any vehicle, own vehicle only, right? So all that. So this is a comprehensive, which is part of own commercial vehicle. This was next collision majorly for own commercial vehicles only. Commercial we have taken. Now modifiers we need to provide. Modifiers was given. Modifiers when there is any risk which is associated. So we need to provide, or the physical damages as well. We need to provide the physical damages. And these are all modifiers, rating inputs, because based upon this risk that is associated, automatically rating inputs can be identified. So whenever we want to update this policy form pattern, so these are risk analysis. Any risk is identified, we can go ahead with. As in when we don't have any risk as such, we are going for quote. Commercial liability we have not added. Liability coverage because there are vehicle on the policy. Okay. Liability coverage we have not added. Commercial line liability. Okay. Commercial auto line liability we have not added. I have not added the liability. Hmm. So property liability I'm adding. Okay. So here liability is required and has been added. Okay. Added liability coverage was not updated. Liability coverages. Liability coverage. Even medical payments, I'm adding this. Let's see. Okay, this is the code, right? So we have provided the code. Consider that the quote is accepted, okay, by the customer, which is $1,806. Consider this is the submission. Okay, we have made it. These are the forms, right? So here we have to update the form. So whatever the policy forms that we are referring to, whatever the policy forms that we wants to be updated, so these forms we have to be updated here, including the endorsements, replacing, right? So whatever the different type of forms that we are mentioning, so these forms we have to update. So once the forms has been updated, it will go to the payment. So once customer has paid the payment, automatically policy can be issued here. So we can issue the policy. We are going with it. Providing the quotation. Let's say to issue the policy. We can view the policy. This is how generally this form patterns where we have to be updated, especially whenever we are working on the policy center. These policies, for example, now I want to add it, so we can add it. So I can just add so that automatically this can be added to the existing policy when it is required. So this policy form can be added. So this is how generally we need to work under the policy form patterns, right? So form patterns catalog, at the same time inferences engines, right? What are the execution layers do we have? So at the same time, there are inference rules also that can be added. So that can be seen in the next session.